Okay, so the other thing that we need to look at within the function are the conditional statements. As I told you, I always keep on reminding you about this, that there are certain things that you are going to continuously be seeing in your programming career. Things like variables, things like functions, things like conditional statements, the if, and the loops. So those things are the core building blocks of any computer program. So any language that you are going to be looking at, that you will come across, you will always find these components. You have to create a variable, you have to create a function, you have to have an if, you need to have some loops, and maybe some lists or arrays, depending on what you're doing. So the earlier you understand these things, the better for you for the upcoming course units, because they keep on coming back. So again, here we have conditional statements. We're again coming back and we're saying that the main conditional statement in SQL is the if. We already looked at an if when you're looking at select statements or inbuilt functions, but that was an inbuilt if function. But here we are trying to use an if within, like in a programming scenario, whereby we get a value, we analyze it, and then we choose what to do and what not to do. As we are saying that it has a minimum of two possibilities. That is, if the value that you're evaluating results into a true, we do something. That is the first possibility. And then the other possibility is when the value results into a false. And then that is the second possibility. And then you try to do some other thing. And as well, we can have nested ifs, just like we had them in the previous programming classes. So how do we use ifs within the SQL environment? So we are going to extend our compute age function. Actually, I'm going to close this for now. Okay, I'm going to close it. I've not executed, so it won't be created. Okay, so I'm going to expand on my compute age. So I'm going to right click, then edit. So to open up here. When this confuse you, members, I think it might confuse you. Let me just create another function since we are looking at something new. Okay. So I'm just going to create a new function. So I'm going to call it okay, the kind of function I want to create is the one that determines the category of a member depending on their age. Okay, so if the age of a person is 18 and above, we say this is an adult. If it is below 18, okay, you're young. Maybe the kind of library has some adult movies and whatsoever. I'm not saying that it's okay to have adult movies, but just to pull out the idea that I'm trying to introduce, that if maybe there are certain movies, as you all know, that some movies are rated something. Is it rated or okay? They're categorized. Okay, this is 18 and above. This is 15. This is 13. For example, cartoons. Those ones are, you find that they are around 8 years. Okay, so my point is we want to categorize the members of our myFlexDB depending on their age. So if a member is 18 and above, we say this is an adult by putting a comment or returning a comment, and if they are below, then we return young. So I have a function that says member category. You can just formulate any name depending on what you're doing. I'm just thinking of a better name. Okay, maybe age comment or age category. Just age category. We are trying to categorize by age. So that is the function name. So I create function. So I get this. And okay, what I didn't explain the other time is this thing here. So what comes first here is the name of the database and then the function that we've created, meaning that this function belongs to myFlexDB. That's precisely what this one means. Okay, so I have my function syntax created for me, and what I need to do is to determine whether I need any any parameters so that I can add it here. And as I said, we are going to be analyzing the age, and if age is above a certain value, we say you are an adult, or we return an adult, and if not, we say young, meaning that we need a value of age that is going to be based on to determine whether adult or young. So meaning age becomes a parameter here, and we know that age is of an integer data type, so we provide it with an integer. But if you look, when you look at the return type, what we are going to be returning is adult for anyone who is above 18 and young for anyone who is below 18, which is not an integer value because these are like character values or string values, adult, young, meaning that we need to change our return data type from int to either varchar, okay, varchar. And I have to mention this, maybe I mentioned it some time back. Every time you use either char or varchar, it is always a must to provide how many characters are you going to be having for that data type. So since this is adult and young, there are a few characters, so I can just say, okay, maybe 10 characters, not to waste space. So we are saying that our function age category, it returns a varchar because it is going to be either adult or young. And then I have my age there. So what I need to do is to use the if to check whether this age that has been provided to us or to the function is above 18. So using the if keyword, the syntax here for if, we don't have, just like we had in Python, we don't have brackets like we had in C. Okay, so again, we don't have those brackets. We just say if age is greater than or equal to 18. We add the equal sign to include the value 18 to this category. Otherwise, it will start from 19 if we don't add the equal sign. And unlike Python, where we used to put the semicolon or the semicolon, here we just say then. Okay, if age is greater than or equal to 18, then it is a must to add this one. If you don't, you'll get a syntax error. Okay, so this is then you have to, whatever statements you want to execute should come in under here. Again, we don't have curly brackets when you're working with ifs. You just have to make your work readable, and I always prefer to indent the work. So all this is indented within the body of the function, but since if is also another kind of a structure and it has its own codes that are particular to the condition, I also prefer to indent it further. Okay, so all the statements of the if should be indented to that level. So meaning that here I want to return, okay, what I'm going to do is, let me first declare here. So I'll have a declare. I'm going to provide a variable that is going to store the comment depending on the age. So I'm going to call it comment. Okay, comment is a keyword in SQL. So I'm just going to call it, okay, I'm going to call it age comment to me. And then since we don't know which comment is going to, you just have to say varchar, which is going to be 10 as well. Okay, so if age is above 18, we want to set our age comment to be, we have to say set age comment equals to, and then you want to say this is adult. Okay, that is adult. And then if this one is not correct, you can also use the else, just like we did in other programming languages. We just say else. And then for else, you don't put then. You only put then when you have a condition. So just say else, and then whatever statements that you want to execute when the condition is not true, this condition here. So we just say we want to set our age comment as well. Comment equals to, and then you can just say this one is young. Okay, so now this is the if structure that we have. Don't forget to terminate the individual statements. Nowadays I'm getting used so much to Python and I forget to terminate. You can say that this is a statement we also have to terminate this one. We have terminated this because it is a statement, and this one is also a statement, and this is a statement, but we are not terminating the if definition statement or okay line, the same as else. Why are we not terminating this? Because these are just defining a structure that we are going to be following down here. So there's no need to terminate. The instance of terminating is to indicate that this is the end of the line. So if you end it, you're isolating it from the rest of the lines. It is like treated independently, which is not the case here because this is all one single structure. Okay, and these lines here are the ones that define this structure, so we do not terminate